Well, first of all, tobacco was traded into Australia many, many years ago with the Macassans. It was seen as holy. In its traditional state, tobacco should only be smoked by old people, and only 3 times a day. When Balanda brought cigarettes in, tailor-made cigarettes in, and said, no, the old people said, no, this is wrong. You cannot give this to young people. That should only be smoked by old people. No, you old people are wrong. You know, your culture's wrong. You're not with it. Cigarettes are good for everybody. It'll clear your throat, all that sort of stuff. Doctors reckon they're quite okay, which that's what doctors were saying back then. And they convinced people to move away from their traditional culture to the new Western culture. And now a lot of people are hooked. And people are having trouble now dealing with not just only cigarette addiction, but also drug addiction and so forth. It's a very new phenomena for a lot of Aboriginal people, because they say to them, but I'm starving for cigarettes. In other words, what's this craving feeling for a cigarette? And having discussed this and being ready to do a whole education program around smoking when resources become available, we worked it through with the old people and all that. Unfortunately, we didn't get those many millions of dollars. They went off to other people who didn't know what they were doing. And so smoking rates have continued. Where I've worked with, say, one doctor in one community, where that doctor was able to taught them enough language around how to explain the effects of cigarettes and disease, so the cause and effect can come back into the conversation with these Yolngu patients. That one community dropped cigarette rates by about 40%, just by that communication around disease factor against tobacco and its effects. So I know if we could produce right now materials like little videos that showed what cigarette smoke does to people, we could have that effect right across Arnhem Land. We could do that. We've got the storylines, we just haven't got the resources to do it. What Yolngu keeps saying to me is we want to know the why and the how. Don't just tell us not to smoke. Because our bodies is telling us to smoke. We need smoke, we're hungry for it. We need to know the why, the how nicotine affects us, how the other chemicals in the cigarette smoke affect us. How is that different from our traditional tobacco? And it's interesting. One of the, if I can get it in here, a short story that if you break the traditional law, like take something that's holy like tobacco was and use it in a common way, you could create what they call a rurugul already. Now rurugul already is only from central Arnhem Land. And rurugul already is where you can look at a tree that's got rurugul already, you can see the white ants have already eaten up the middle of it and the branches that out the top have died. You can see that tree is sick and it's going to die. It could be good for a didgeridoo or for a hollow log coffin, because the ants are eating the inside out. And inside that is the clay with the house construction of the ants. And they say, if you break this law, then you will become like that. You'll become like ant-eaten in the inside, which very much is very similar to emphysema. If we could talk about this in a cultural way that made sense to people, they would stop smoking almost overnight. Unfortunately, the money's always been given to clowns who don't know, no cultural competency, no understanding of the worldview of the people, no language of the people. They even use the wrong terms, and so on. So again, it's an issue of giving good people good fundamental knowledge around that particular thing, in this case smoking. I'm absolutely convinced we can stop if we had the right education programs.